Hey everyone, it's spooky season, so that means that Natalie gets to cover her favorite genre of movie, slasher movies. I love Scream. When I watch it for the first time, I do not like horror movies. For context, like I hate psychological horror. It freaks me out because if I'm actually scared of something, then it'll seep into my nightmares. Slashers are okay because I'm like, that's just a guy in a mask who's murdering people. Fear Street is the one exception where it's like a demon murdering people. But the movie that we're talking about today is Hard Eyes, which came out in 2025 and it is starring kicking it star Olivia Holt, which is the reason I watched it. But I'm so glad I did because I genuinely love this movie and I've been waiting to talk about it since it came out on Valentine's Day. Some could claim that this movie is a Valentine's Day movie, and they would be correct. It came out on Valentine's Day, but it is also a thriller, meaning I can talk about it in Halloween season, okay? I just really didn't want to wait to make this video until Valentine's Day. I need to talk about this right now. This movie was made by the producers of Scream, which is also another reason I watched it, because I was like, Olivia Holt and Scream, that's going to be a good movie. And I was correct. Today, I'm going to be doing a deep dive into the whole entire plot, so if you don't want spoilers, then go watch the movie and then come back and watch this video, because they're both worth a watch, okay? I won't reveal the killer until the very end, so if you want to just watch up until there and then go watch the movie, fine by me. And now, let's get into the plot. As you can see, we don't have a lot of characters in this movie, and that's because a lot of people who show up die, and they're like one-off characters, which is the thing with slashers. We open to a couple who are about to get engaged because the guy's about to propose, and they are in a vineyard, and they're listening to country music. Already a bad sign that you should not be listening to country music when you're about to get engaged. I do not care where you're from. And the girl knows this is coming because she seems to have every detail planned out. And this is because when he proposes, she's like, no, don't do it that way, and makes him redo it. And their relationship seems to be very much like, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but they are together to be together. Like they are together to get married. A key detail is that he puts the ring in her food, and then she yells at him and says, yeah, no, I did not want it in my food. Do not do that. And so he's like, fine, whatever. And then they just rip it out, and then he proposes like on money or whatever. And then the guy who's supposed to be taking pictures of the proposal calls him, and he's like, yeah, I did not get the shot. You're gonna have to redo that. And as they're redoing this proposal, he calls the guy again. He's like, oh, did you get that? No response on the phone. And that's because the guy who was taking the pictures got stabbed right through the eye through his camera lens. Dick. And this is by the killer of the movie, nicknamed Hard Eyes. I'm unsure actually if Hard Eyes says something through the phone when the guy's trying to call the camera person, but moral of the story is that I think they figure out that he got killed, and so they're like crashing out about this respectively. And then the guy whose name is Patrick gets killed, and I think he deserved to die only for the fact that he has the same name as my sister's crazy ex-boyfriend. And then Hard Eyes starts chasing the girl through the vineyard, and as she's trying to run, she is in the horror movie fashion is when she cannot run. This girl is not sprinting and she keeps looking back. She gets shot in the foot with an arrow, which means that she's like limping away. And she makes it to this barn thing where I assume they crush grapes. And then she crawls into a device that's like a spinny thing where they crush the grapes. I think it basically is like a chamber where things get crushed. World story. She climbs in there to hide, and she's like, sick, he'll never find me in here. And then she closes the door, locking herself inside. And then I'm pretty sure the killer sees her in there and starts up the machine. So probably the most gruesome death of the movie is that she gets tumbled in this machine and completely torn apart. And then we jump to news footage of the whole situation that happened, and we get lore of the Hard Eyes killer, because this is not the first time that he's killed people. His beef is that he goes around to different cities every Valentine's Day and specifically targets couples. So it's like a 1 day a year thing, but this is, I think, the second year that he's done it. And he will target couples, but he will also kill other people if it's convenient. Like if they're in his way, he'll just like kill him. He does not care. Watching this news footage is our main character, aka Olivia Holt, whose name is Allie. She's in a coffee hour with her friend Monica, and they're talking about Allie's job because she has a meeting today that's very important for her job, and she's really nervous. This is because she's in marketing, and she just made a new marketing campaign for her company, and her boss doesn't really like her already, so she's really scared about getting fired. And then as her drink gets called up, because it's like a very specific drink, she goes to grab it, and then this other guy also grabs for the same drink. So they have the same specific coffee order, and they joke about that or whatever. And this man is the hottest man I've ever seen in my life. He was also in Scream, and he was Jenna Ortega's love interest. That's where I knew him from. But when I saw him in the theater, I was actually giggling and kicking my feet the entire time. These two in a romantic setting is like a deadly combo. They're actually so pretty together that it's so unfair. And after this encounter, they're like low-key in love, but they have to leave because she has a meeting to go to, you know? She also like accidentally assaults him because like she hits him with a straw or something. Important detail about her is that she does not use plastic straws, and she only uses metal straws.
Metal straw.
I hate paper straws. They just turn into mush in like 3 seconds.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying. Let's put all the coffee in a plastic cup, but hey, as long as the straw is paper, planet safe.
Oh.
Oh!
I'm sorry. No, I'm. Sorry. I got it. It's okay. No, it's so. Oh, shit. Fucking Jesus. Oh my God, are you okay? Yeah. Oh my God, you're bleeding.
Moral of the story is that they leave after assaulting each other, but like they had a little flirty vibe, but they didn't like give each other's numbers or anything. And when she goes to her meeting, we learn that her campaign was like till death do us part because it's for a jewelry thing, I do believe, like wedding rings and stuff. And so it was like a thing of like tragic love stories, but like they're the best ones because they evoke emotion or whatever. But this is not very timely considering that there is a serial killer going around killing couples specifically, so her boss is not happy about this. Like, how is she supposed to predict the future? Personally, I think the campaign was kind of diva and like I lived for it. I would buy a wedding ring even if I wasn't getting engaged. And because her boss hates her, she hires a new person to help her with a new campaign to rectify this one. And this new hire happens to be the guy that she met at the coffee shop, aka his name is Jay. And now they've changed dynamics completely. Now they're not a little meet cute couple, but they're enemies to lovers because she's like, you're trying to take my fucking job. Like, I literally hate you. I have trauma connected to enemies to lovers in an office space. The hating game actually ruined me forever. So I can promise you this, it's better than the hating game. Let me know if y'all want to see a video on the hating game because that movie is crazy. And as Allie is crashing out in the bathroom with Monica, he follows her to the bathroom and then asks about the new campaign and if they can talk about it over dinner. Keep in mind, it is Valentine's Day. Why would he want to take her to a romantic dinner at like a fancy spot on Valentine's Day when there's a serial killer running around Seattle? Also, this movie is set in Seattle, but it was filmed in New Zealand. I have so many thoughts around that. When she tries to respectfully reason against this, because she's like, there's a serial killer running around, he just completely brushes her off and then says, meet you at 8. And then Monica and Allie decide to go to lunch. There's literally a serial killer in your city. Get off the streets. I do not care if he maybe not, doesn't target people in broad lighting, but please get off the streets. I don't care if you're two women having lunch. He could think you're lesbians. Like, I actually don't know if any gay people get killed in this movie. That's something to look into. Hard Eyes is an ally, guys. And Monica reveals that she's in a relationship of her own and she has a sugar daddy, but she actually loves him, so it's okay. And Allie isn't doing too well in the romantic department because she's currently stalking her ex on Instagram because he got a new girlfriend and she's very jealous. And to say the least, this is the most mid-man ever. Guys, my bangs keep moving. I'm about to blow a gasket. Like, it's not even funny. This is your warning that if you're gonna cut your hair to be Sabrina Carpenter, it comes with repercussions, aka your bangs will not agree with you at any time. Allie decides to go to dinner only for the fact that she wants to keep her job. She gets there on time. He gets there like maybe 15 minutes late. And then when he gets there, he acts like an asshole know-it-all about her whole life and like speculates about her love life and everything. And this whole time, she's trying to keep good vibes because she wants to keep her job. And so she's like trying to bring them back to the campaign. And he's like, you don't have a boyfriend, do you? And then she goes off on him respectively because he's being an asshole. He gets mad and acts like it was her fault. I will not respect a man who makes a woman think that she's crazy. And he pisses me off so much in the beginning of this movie, but oh my God, is he a hot man. I'm afraid if I was in her place, I'd be letting it go. And then he storms out of the restaurant after she yells at him. And she has to go out and apologize to him. Grow a backbone and get away from this man. Oh my God. As she's standing outside the restaurant, she sees her ex with his new girlfriend and she's like, oh my God. And then she forcefully kisses Jay to try and make her ex jealous and then lies and says that he is her boyfriend. And he goes along with it. And then her ex is also Australian or British. I don't remember. He has an accent, so I remember. And she was like, yeah, that's like most of the reason I dated him because he had an accent, which is so real. And then he casually drops with the new girlfriend that they were supposed to have a reservation with the couple that got killed at the winery that morning. And so he's like, too bad. Like, they do not care that their friends got killed, like, at all. And then Allie gets into Jay's Uber because she needs to get home, I guess. And he already called one. And then we get a POV shot of Hard Eyes, but since he has, hearts for eyes, we see it through a heart lens. And he's watching the two of them get into the Uber.
Oh, you're coming with me. Oh, so embarrassing.
Now, they have a talk in their Uber, and they work it out on the remix. They're fine now. Their vibes are fine. They're like, we'll figure out this campaign. It'll be great. But then as she's dropped off from the Uber, he's still in there. She gets locked out of her house because she can't find her key. And he decides to leave the Uber to go help. And he punches through the glass window of her apartment complex to like get the door unlocked. And he cuts his hand open completely. Because of this, Allie invites him up to her apartment to help clean the wound because he's avidly bleeding. As she's getting the first aid stuff, he goes around every single room of her apartment and like is judging everything about it because it's like dirty because she's the only one who lives there. And it's because this man has no bone that is not judgmental in his body and nosy. I swear. And then she decides to bandage his hand in her room. And then she's subtly trying to hide the vibrator that she has on her bedside table from him because it's like behind her. I wouldn't be mentioning this only for the fact that it comes into the plot. And then she ends up getting it behind her back and is like being very unsubtle about the fact that she's hiding something, but then throws it into her closet. And turns out that the Hard Eyes killer is actually hiding in her closet. So thank God she was actually trying to hide it, unless they probably would have gotten like jump scared out of that closet. Oh my God, literally FNAF 4 core. Anyway, the killer then jumps out because his location is found out, and they have a tussle inside of her apartment. They run out of the apartment complex and then get chased to a playground that is nearby, I guess. And Allie is like being cornered in this dark area of the playground. I have no idea where she is. But then Jay stops the killer from getting her, but he gets knocked down because of it. Allie just runs away because she's like survival instinct. The right decision, if you will. And then she hides on a carousel, and Hard Eyes ends up turning it on, and so it goes really, really fast. And then Hard Eyes goes onto the carousel and like is trying to stab her while she's like on a horse. She almost gets stabbed like 13 times, but she makes it off the carousel, so she's safe. And as she's trying to find a way out, the police finally show up. And then she's like, oh yeah, he was just on that carousel, like he should be around here somewhere. And then they get a call in that they found Hard Eyes. Who are they pulling into that police car? None other than Jay, because he was planted with a Hard Eyes mask. And obviously we know that he's not Hard Eyes because we saw him get attacked by Hard Eyes. Allie says this, of course, because she's like, he was literally with me when we got attacked. And they're like, they're like, the evidence is kind of irrefutable. He was found with a mask and a knife. And then as he's in this police car, Allie goes up to him and she's like, hey, like, I'll try and get you out because obviously you didn't do this. And he's like, why would you leave me? Like, that was so messed up. She was running away from a killer. Are you fucking stupid? When she was avidly being chased and he was unconscious, what was she supposed to do? Drag his unconscious body with her to run? Yeah, I don't think so. He really pisses me off in the beginning of this movie. Like, he gets better after this. Trust. They bring him to the police force and he's being interrogated by the two lead detectives on the case, which are detectives Hobbs and Shaw, like the movie. I don't know which one is which. And then evidence from the winery case was they found a wedding band that had the initials JS on it. And Jay's last name starts with an S, so they're like, oh yeah, it's your initials. That must be your wedding band. And he's like, why the fuck would I put my initials on a wedding band? That makes no sense. Also, he's like, I'm not married. And he's overall not very happy about being arrested because he's being falsely accused. When they're talking about the case, they talk about how killing people could be a kink, but then they just leave it there and talk about it no longer. Allie is in the waiting room of the police station to wait to convince them that it's not Jay because she has evidence that she was with him. And then some random man walks in and hits on her. It's like a conversation that goes along the lines of like, why are you in a police station all alone? And she's like, I'm waiting for this guy. And he's like, oh, like, aren't you happy that Hard Eyes got taken in or whatever? And she's like, oh, I don't know. But moral of the story is that she's uncomfortable. He's like kind of creepy. And then he's like, oh, can I have your number? And she's like, no, I just like had a really traumatic day where I almost got killed. So I'm good. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he walks out. And then he leaves the police station, leaving her all alone in the waiting room because the receptionist desk lady like left to go check on where Jay was, because she asked like 13,000 times. And then the female detective comes out to talk to her, and then the power goes out. Because of this, the female detective leaves because she wants to go like, get her gun, I think. And then the killer shows up. He has like glow in the dark hearts on his mask, which is so cool because like the POV shot is like night vision. And it also just looks very diva from like far away. This is why I got this picture specifically, because this is like his coolest look. Anyway, when he shows up, he kills, finally put the names in my notes, thank God. He kills Hobbs from Hobbs and Shaw, aka the man, by cutting his dick off. We celebrate this because he made a very weird comment to Shaw earlier, and I will respect no one who disrespects a woman. And then Allie finally finds Jay in the police station, but he's behind the mirror glass, so you can see from one side, but he can't see from the other. And she shoots through it because Hard Eyes is going into the interrogation room that he's in. And the problem is that he's handcuffed to the table, so he cannot run away. But she shoots through the glass to try and shoot Hard Eyes, but misses severely. But Hard Eyes runs away. They run out of the police station because she shoots off his handcuffs. As they're running out, they almost get hit by a car because they're like running out onto the street. But then Jay jumps on top of her, so then they miss the car and they have a little moment. But the thing is, they're avidly being chased by a serial killer, so then they book it.
You saved my life.
You saved mine. How'd you win?
We're not together! Kill somebody else!
Arguably, the best part of the movie is they accidentally lead Hard Eyes to a Valentine's Day drive-in, which is just a bunch of couples watching movies together in their cars. The prime spot for a serial killer wanting to kill couples. Also, if there is a serial killer in your town, why are you having this drive-in? Have it a day late. Like, he's not going to come kill you on a day that's not Valentine's Day. And then as they're running into this drive-in, they're also running and holding hands. And like, they're so in love. This is when the romance part of the movie really kicks up. Like, they are totally in love. Sure, it's like kind of trauma bonding, but I support it. They end up hiding in a couple's van, and the couple does not care at all because they're in the back having sex, but they hide in the front seats and are just like talking. And also, they tell the couple that there is a serial killer on the loose in this drive-in, and they do not care and continue having sex in the back. While they're listening to the two banging in the back of their van, they are talking about their failed relationships in the past. Allie's story is that she's terrified of romance because her mom and dad were like the picture-perfect couple, but then her dad died, which left her mom like completely destroyed. So she doesn't want to fall in love, only for the fact that she doesn't want to lose it. And Jay is the opposite, where he had awful parents parents, and they did not love each other at all. So he believes in like the perfect romance and strives for it every time, but he gets hurt every single time because it's not very realistic, to say the least. And the killer eventually finds them because the couple in the back starts having sex a little too loud, and so he like opens the back of the van and then stabs one of them clean through the mouth, which is crazy. After this, he just like leaves because he doesn't see that Allie and Jay are in the front. Allie finds a random savior complex and she's like, I'm gonna kill Hard Eyes. And then she takes out the knife from the guy's mouth where he got stabbed, and Jay says the absolute sluttiest thing ever.
I don't think I can do that.
Yay. Yes, you can.
And they decide to go kill him together because they're like in love now. Allie is kind of holding her own against Hard Eyes because she's not a great fighter, but she gets a clean stab in him, but he's not completely dead. But then Jay comes through and stabs him in the chest, so he is for sure dead. If you know anything about the producers of Scream or the Scream plots, this shit is not over. Even though we have the serial killer dead, none of this is over. And this is further proven by the point when they unmask him, he is some random ass guy that has not shown up in the plot. So obviously there's something else going on. And then after this whole traumatic episode, ambulance comes in, they get all their shit treated, you know, and then Jay shoots a shot and says, oh yeah, do you want to come back to my hotel room? We can work on the campaign or whatever. And she's a little scared of, you know, like going into a relationship or whatever. So she's like, no, I'm okay. I'd be doing everything in my power to be dating this man. It's not even funny. She has so much self-control that I don't have. She's got through so much trauma this day that she's like, maybe we shouldn't just start a relationship right now. But he's leaving the next morning, like early morning flight. And so that's kind of their last chance. And he's like, oh, okay, that's fine. Very understanding of the whole thing. But then Shaw from Hobbs and Shaw gives him a ride. Him not pushing Allie after her rejection is very much showing character development. He is not the same asshole that he was in the beginning of the movie. He writes his number on her hand, which is so cute. And then he can see that she's jealous that Shaw from Hobbs and Shaw is giving him a ride. And so he's like, oh, she's not my type. Like, they're so cute. Allie goes home to shower because she's covered in blood and decompress about the whole entire thing. Then she's on the phone with Monica, and Monica convinces her to go run to the airport to get him because she's like, I think I'm in love with him. And then she pulls up to the airport in the cutest little claw clip style because her hair's like wet from the shower. Something is always there to ruin a woman's serve because then she gets a phone call from Hard Eyes because there's another one and he's torturing Jay. This phone call isn't them saying that directly. They do it through like a little poem or something. They say to come to the St. Valentine's chapel. When she gets there, Jay's like tied up and everything, and then Hard Eyes unmasks himself to be the random guy that hit on her in the police station. You wonder why I honed in on that scene so much? Yeah, it was important. His name is David, and he reveals that they actually killed a guy named Eli at the drive-in, and he was just like a pawn. He wasn't necessarily like one of the killers. The thing about Eli is that Eli and David were in a relationship, but they were actually in a throuple with none other than Shaw from Hobbs and Shaw. See, in this throuple, there was a couple, aka Shaw and David were married. They were in love. And then Eli just kind of came around and they were like, oh, we need another killer. Just throw him in. Moral of the story is that Shaw and David are some freaky ass people, and their kink is killing people on Valentine's Day. That's why she said it in the police station, because it was true. And the wedding ring that they were using as evidence against Jay said JS because it was David's wedding ring and it was for Janine Shaw. Makes sense to have your partner's initials on the wedding ring, not your own. I don't know how they could even spin that in a court of law. Originally, they were planning on killing Allie's ex and his girlfriend at the restaurant because they were with the couple that they killed at the wedding, but they saw Allie and Jay's fake kiss or whatever and were like, oh, they have chemistry, and so they wanted to kill them instead. It was all that Allie wanted to make her ex jealous. That was the reason that they're getting killed. And then they give Allie the ultimatum where she has a gun with one bullet and she can either kill Jay or kill herself. And then she gives him a whole speech about how she's like in love with him and how she wants like this big romantic ending. And even though they like barely known each other, like she is so in love with him. And generally, like I need them to both get Oscars for this scene. She does such a good job. She like is actually having a crush out, and he looks so distraught because he has something covering his mouth. He can't speak, but his eye acting is so good. Like he actually looks so sad in the scene.
And with the storybook thing, it was just one single night. But I fell hard for you, Jay.
And then she originally holds up the gun to her head, but then last minute, she's using the left side of the chest in order to shoot Shaw, who's behind him. It's not a directly fatal shot to Jay. And then this leads to an overall fight where both Allie and Jay are fighting the two of them. And Jay ends up putting an arrow through David's eye, so he is dead. And then Allie ends up stabbing Shaw through the neck with her metal straw, because she always carries it on her. And then since they're in St. Valentine's Chapel, there's a statue of St. Valentine, and he has like a sword. And so she pushes her into the statue with the sword, and it ends up decapitating her. When I said the most gruesome death was getting spun in that grape crusher or whatever, maybe this was the exception, because she literally gets beheaded. And then after this, she like checks on Jay because he's avidly bleeding out still. So she goes up to him, and his only response is just hi. I can't. They're so freaking cute. Like I when I tell you, I rewatched this movie to script, and I could not handle myself. Like, I was actually, like, kicking my feet, giggling more than I was in the theater. Because in the theater, I was, like, kind of trying to follow the plot. So I wasn't necessarily honed in on the relationship. But, like, I was, because I was still, like, this man is so hot. I need them together because they're so hot together, you know? But when I was rewatching it, because I already knew what happened, obviously, I was literally looking at everything with their relationship. They're so freaking cute. We get a 1 year time skip where they're both still working at the company, and they're like the marketing it couple. Like they made a campaign that was so good, and everyone's like, they are the cutest little couple together. And I agree. It's Ali's last day because she's deciding to go back to medical school, because while she was bandaging up his hand, she was talking about how she dropped out of medical school only for the fact she cannot handle blood at all. And through the whole hard eye situation, she actually got over that fear and is going back because she really wanted to be a doctor. And then they go and have a date in the drive-in, and then he asks her to move in with her through like a fake ring box or whatever, and it's just like a key inside. And so she freaks out for a little bit and then says no, and he's like, oh, like that's okay, we can like go slower or whatever. And then she pulls a full 180 and actually proposes with a ring. Also, the women proposing to a man. Snaps for that. See, the problem is with this couple, I don't know who I'm more jealous of, because I want to date both of them. And the post-credit scene is Monica prank calling Ali with the hard eyes like voice changer and saying that she got the engagement shot of them in the car. And that was the entire movie. And it was so good. Like, I want to watch this movie again now just talking about it. I think that they should bring back these type of movies. I don't care that they all kind of have the same plot of like, oh yeah, like there's gonna be multiple killers, whatever. I don't care. I love slasher movies and we should have more of them. And the thing is, like, the vibes of this movie kind of give like retro, like maybe 90s inspired, and I need more of that. And get the Scream producers back in business. They should just make a bunch of movies. And then most of all, the chemistry in this movie is so good. I need them in like maybe a normal rom-com, whatever, I don't know. Or I need actors who have such good chemistry that I am like convinced that they are dating in real life. I need that. Now, overall thoughts. Obviously, a slasher movie is supposed to like lead you in the wrong directions a lot, and I feel like this one used a lot of tropes to the point where you'd like probably be guessing a lot. When I watched it for the first time, I didn't guess who it was, just only for the fact that I completely forgot that that random guy hit on her in the police station. Looking back, it's like if you looked at every scene, you could probably guess that, because like, why is it there? And of course, it's the obvious choice for the Scream vibe to do multiple killers, and I love it. So I can't even complain about that. From my initial watch, I gave it 4.5 stars just because I had no intention of watching it again. But after I watched it, I was like, I should rewatch this every year on Valentine's Day specifically. And I really think that it's like a modern day classic. Like, I feel like it can go next to Scream. Like, that's how much I love it. Thank you so much for watching. This was such a fun thing to do, and I'm so excited to be doing a freaking slasher movie for October. This was my plan for like since the movie came out. So I've been sitting on it a while, guys. I have another video coming out soon, which is my read along to Centers on the Reaping, if you're interested in that, if those two things correlate at all. And I have a lot of fun videos planned, so please subscribe to keep a lookout for those. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a comment. And thanks for watching.